Holy smokes. We're here. 100. 100 episodes. I am taking in the graphic that you have altered. At first, I thought there was something wrong with it, but I see that you have made us the Pittsburgh Penguins while celebrating our
It's not what I was
100th
going for,
episode.
but okay.
What'd you say?
It's not what I was going for, but okay.
That's the first thing I thought about. This is No One Asked Us. Episode 100 of this show. We've done a lot more than 100 uploads on this YouTube feed, this podcast feed, wherever you're listening or watching. But as far as actual episodes of No One Asked Us with Craig and myself, this is episode 100. Welcome in, everybody. I am Logan Lee. He is Craig Choate. This is great. It's been 4 weeks since we've done a show.
It's been a month.
the timing of our 100th episode, unfortunately, was not very well planned out. And we'll get into all of that. We've both been very busy over the course of the last month. So
yeah,
that's why we are just now doing this. But we're here for episode 100. Craig, hello. How are you? Congratulations on episode 100. How do you feel? Did you think we'd get this far?
No. No, I was just thinking back to the first one. And I think the presentation looks better and the quality is better. But if you go back and look at the first episode, it's pretty brutal. It doesn't look great. We don't sound great. It's come a long way. I know we're not. I don't think we are. If you would have told me we were 100 episodes in plus post-game shows and all that, and this is going to sound bad, I would have thought that we would be more successful at this.
Yeah.
But we're just doing this for fun. We make no money from this. It's just us on here talking to unload our thoughts to the world. So to make it 100 with the grind, because it's not easy. There is a lot that goes into it, but I did not think we'd make it here. I will say that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We, as you alluded to, we started this, you and I had been talking about doing a podcast for a while. At the time we were really in the heart of the COVID era.
Yeah.
And we were both of us were working from home. Didn't have a lot of people to talk to. We were talking all the time anyway. And we just decided one night to do it. And I think it helped that we chose to start it at the heart of the men's basketball season that particular year, which was arguably it was the most successful basketball season of the last 20 years. And I think that was, where our interests really collided was Illinois sports, Illinois basketball in particular. So starting it up that year in 2021, ultimately we know what happened at the end of that season. We don't need to get into that, but that was kind of the reason really why we started to do this, and we've mixed in some other sports and some other pop culture things. And, but yeah, as you said, I think we both probably thought we'd be a little bit more successful than we are at this point, but I don't think that either of us really care.
No.
We're not trying to do this as a job. I mean, obviously we would love to be able to quit our regular jobs and just podcast full time, but that's
right. That's the main thing. We're both working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So,
and we both have lives and significant others and things. We travel quite often. And this is just us hopping on a Zoom call once a week just to chat for an hour plus about mostly sports. And that's pretty cool. So I'm happy to have been along for this ride with you. This has been pretty awesome. I do want to throw you a special kudos because you have been the one that has behind the scenes done most everything that the audience sees or reads or anything else. I chip in from time to time, when it comes to posting things and whatnot. And and things have kind of trickled off as we've gotten more busy. Like you got married, like things have just kind of changed in our lives. So, some of it hasn't been as consistent, but you have done a lot to make this happen. So I want to thank you personally for what you've done. You've done a lot, and it's pretty special what we created here, and you definitely deserve a lot of the credit for that.
Thank you. And I'll thank you for showing up.
Well, the last 4 weeks, that's just to be here is a blessing.
It's I mean, thank you for the thank you, but I enjoy this. It's throwing these graphics together, the everything you see behind us, and running the restream and the zooms and editing all that stuff, putting the graphics of our picks together every week. It's tedious, but I enjoy doing it. I've toyed with some other things. Like I think this past year, 2 years ago, I did the whole, automatic bid graphic for us for the NCAA tournament. It's easy stuff. I'm not paying for anything, but it's just what I enjoy. So yeah, we're not going to make a living off of this. I don't think either of us expect us to, but we have fun just sitting down and chatting once a week. And I know it hasn't been as regular this year, but like Logan said, we've both got a lot going on right now, and it's been a unique fall. So I think it might be slowing down for me for now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens the next month or two.
And it's kind of nice too, because you and I, like, obviously we have a lot in common. We do this show together, and we don't disagree on much.
No.
We share a lot of the same viewpoints, which probably doesn't make great content.
Not content,
But when you mentioned putting the graphics together, we're both just kind of geeky when it comes to that stuff. I have thousands of spreadsheets that are just things devoted to the show and not devoted to the show. And so we both just have some of these things in common where we like doing this stuff. We like putting these things together, and some of it makes it to the show. Some of it makes it to social media. Some of it doesn't go anywhere, but it's just one of those things that you and I have always kind of shared. And so it's been kind of nice to just be able to do this and talk with somebody and, go over some of these things. So once again, thank you. Congratulations. We made it to 100. We'll stop it here. And it's been a great show. Just kidding. All right. So
if I would have known you were going to do that, I would have had like a thank you graphic that would have took us off and thrown that up and be like, series finale. That's it.
Bang. No, unfortunately, I think we're going to stick around and do this for a while. We're about to get to basketball season, which is really where our content will probably take off again. That's usually what drives us in terms of this show. So plenty more of that to go. But for now, it's still football season. We have football stuff to talk about. Should we lead with what we've been doing for the past month? We both have done some things that I think at one point or another we probably should have talked about. We don't have to go over all the details of all of our trips. The reason I bring that up is I obviously need to talk about the one thing that I did.
Yeah.
That was because of this show.
Yes.
So you went on a honeymoon. I went on a mini vacation, all these other things. But in the middle of all that, I went to the whiteout game at Penn State. That's something I haven't been able to talk about on this show since it actually happened. Again, just really bad timing. But that was ultimately because of this show is why I was able to do that. A buddy had reached out through my brother to provide me tickets to be able to experience this. So this was now several weeks ago, so it's not extremely fresh in my mind. But again, it was because of the show that I was able to do that, and went to State College, watched the Nittany Lions wipe the floor with Iowa, which is always fun, regardless of the outcome. And had a great time, a whirlwind of a 48 hours, 36 hours, something like that. But that was an incredible experience. Again, I do know the identity of the person now. I don't know if we talked about this or not. I did. Yes. I did find out. I found out the identity of the person the Friday before. Long story. I don't need to explain it all. I found out on my own. But then the person reached out to me Sunday as I was on my way home and so him and I have talked since then. But
So Jeff D'Lo?
No, it was not. It was not Jeff
Oh,
D'Lo. It was not
okay.
Jeff D'Lo. Actually, it's somebody that doesn't have any affiliation with Penn State, ironically enough. But yeah, went there, had a fabulous time, wonderful experience. My take on it is that a whiteout is something that every college football fan should experience. The stadium, it's Beaver Stadium itself, is a college football stadium. Like they are just, they're all big. They all seat a lot of people, and some of them have been renovated and some of them haven't. So I was kind of underwhelmed by the stadium itself, but like I don't think that's really the point of going to a whiteout game. Despite the rain and the chilly temperatures, a fun time was had by all, and I am very thankful for that opportunity. Would have loved to have taken you with me, but obviously you were a little busy that particular weekend as well.
That's something going on.
So I luckily had somebody that was more than happy to attend. A big Penn State fan who had never been to a whiteout game was able to go with me, and that's kind of the cool thing about it is, I went just as a casual fan, somebody that wanted to experience this, but I had no allegiance towards either team, other than like explicit word Iowa. But when you go with somebody that is a huge fan of one of the teams and has never done that, it adds a whole different dimension, whole different layer to it. Like that's something that I would like to do more of. Like I would love to go to an Ohio State Michigan game with an Ohio State Michigan fan. I personally do not care who wins that game, but just being able to experience it with somebody who is living and dying with that game, it just adds a different layer to it, which was really cool. So that was that experience.
We have a question for you.
Yes.
About that.
Is this from the comments?
South Bend Hawkeye. Yes.
Yes, South Bend Hawkeye is in the comments. Is Penn State legit? Be truthful. Iowa and West Virginia are really.
He meant are not.
Yes,
really
are not. Yes, good. Penn State is good. I don't know if I can really envision a scenario where Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State all just go 1-1 against each other. Mm-hmm. Hard to say who's going to beat who. Penn State is good. Iowa was awful that day. We know what Iowa's defense is, but their defense was particularly bad that day. They just don't have an offense, as you are well aware, South Bend Hawkeye. Are they legit? Yes. Are they going to beat Ohio State and Michigan? No, probably not. They might be one of them. I'm not going to tell you who. I don't know. But I think they're definitely legit. I mean, I think they're a true contender for a New Year's Six Bowl. If that's a win for them, which I think it should be. But Iowa was terrible that game, just awful. But Penn State looked really good. So the real test for Penn State is this weekend. Going to Columbus with Ohio State. Yeah, that's the true test. Penn State has a good quarterback. He has good weapons, but I don't think
they were going to be.
No, that's fair.
So
that's fair. Yeah. So that's that. I just wanted to at least talk about that. Others, we don't have to talk about all of our other travels. But that was something that I did feel like I needed to at least mention towards the top of the show. So do we need to discuss anything else? You want to talk about any of your stuff, or do you just want to jump straight into football and have the conversation that you and I had via text the other night?
I feel like I've been nonstop since for the last month. So
you and I both.
It all runs together. I had back first weekend I was going to my honeymoon. Second weekend I was coming back from my honeymoon. The weekend we got back was my parents came to town, and then this last weekend I went to Chicago. So it's just been nonstop. So it's been a weird fall, because normally in fall at Friday at 5:30, 6 o'clock, I plop on the couch and don't move until Sunday night, Monday morning. And I have not been able to do that this year, and it's not stopping anytime soon. So it's just been a weird fall. That's all I'll say.
That's how my entire summer's been.
Yeah.
I have not stopped moving since the first weekend in June. It has been nonstop moving. So in the last 4 weeks, I have been to State College, Pennsylvania. I have been all through the state of Connecticut. I have been. There was one other thing in there too. I don't remember. Not important. But yes,
the only
we've
thing
both
I will
been.
say,
Yes, go ahead.
from my travels is if you get the chance, and I don't know that everyone will, but if you get the chance, go to Maho Beach in St. Martin. It
Is that
is
the plane one?
incredible. Yeah, I can't find the picture.
It's a bucket list thing for me. Yeah,
it is eye popping. Where is the good picture? I can't find the good picture that I took.
It's cool.
This is great. This is great content. But yeah, Maho Beach in St. Martin. The airport runway is like 100 feet from the beach, so the planes fly right over the top of your head, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen. I can't find the best picture that I took from it. Here it is. I'm gonna hold. This is great quality here because I'm gonna hold my phone up to the camera.
Yep.
I mean, it felt like you could jump up and touch that airplane. It was wild.
Did you guys get a video of it flying like above you too?
Yeah.
I've seen those. I thought you did. I've seen other people do that too. That's definitely a bucket list thing for me. I would love to see that.
The other one we went to, so that was St. Martin. That was our second stop in the Virgin Islands. The other one was the stop was St. Thomas, but we got off the boat at St. Thomas and went to St. John, which is a little bit more secluded island. There weren't as many people there. Just the most beautiful beach white sand, crystal clear water, like maybe 20 people on the beach. It was awesome. Christy gets mad when I say this, but the thing I take away from it most is we sailed right by Epstein Island. Like we could see it. And I took like 20 pictures because it was like, holy cow, it's right there. That's like major history right there. She's like, why do you care? Like, because whatever, you don't care. So yeah, that was cool. But incredible. I love a cruise. So it was a great trip, great honeymoon. So we should probably talk about things. We've been on here for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while, and we haven't even dove into anything. Let's jump into Illinois football. I was prepared to come on this show and give this speech. I had a speech ready to go. I had already workshopped it with a couple different people. I even workshopped another. I hadn't, because I wanted to have the conversation with you on the show. Yeah. I even workshopped it, sort of, half of it, on another podcast that I did last weekend.
What?
Hold on. There's two parts to this. We've been over this. I didn't mention the first part. I didn't mention the most important part. I mentioned the secondary part on the other show. That show has nothing to do with sports. I'm sorry if that offends you. Go check it out. It's Logan Rob's Mojo Dojo Casa House. I was prepared to give a speech in which I come out and say that I, Logan Lee, am tired of pretending to care about the Star Wars universe and Illinois football. And then Saturday happens. And
you still think that?
I still kind of think that, yes. Listen,
right?
Like I'm still gonna watch. Like if I'm sitting at home on a Saturday, like I'm still gonna have the game on. But I'm tired of caring. I'm tired of pretending to care. Saturday was great. Big win. Maryland's a good team. Like, where did this come from? Who is this team? What's this identity? Craig's tweet whispering that the rest of the schedule's winnable. Like, whatever. Good for them. It's good. Good win. 27-24 win over Maryland. You go on the road after after looking awful the week before against Nebraska at home. You go to Maryland and do that. Like, what is this team? I thought I was supposed to be excited about this, and I'm just not. Like, that was a big win, and I frankly still do not care. Mm-hmm. I don't. So that's where I'm at. I was so much more invested in the big game out west than I was with that game. I know you had the 4 screen set up. Allison gets mad at me if I just have 2 screens set up. So, but I did have 2. Trust me. But my attention was solely on Oregon and Washington for the first hour and a half of that block of games. It really was until the last quarter that I even switched over to the Illinois game. But again, good for them. I couldn't really tell you what happened. If I'm being totally honest, I know you didn't really watch much of it either or pay attention to it. Would love to see more of it. Would love to give me a reason to care. But as far as I'm concerned, it's basketball season. Where do we go? We should be excited about this. We should be excited about this.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean,
should we not?
They're still 3-4. I mean, if this win would have made them 5-2, then maybe. Which that's where I thought they would be. I thought they would be. Yeah, I thought they would lose this game and drop to 5-2. That was my prediction this season, and they're 3-4, and they won the game. I think that tells you all you need to know. This team just. It's week 7, week 8. It's week 8, I believe. Yeah, it's week 8, and we still don't know what this team is. And you're gonna lose fans when one game you get this, and then the week prior you lose and get dominated by a pretty bad Nebraska team. And you got people like me tweeting that, oh, basketball's in 2 weeks, then we don't have to pay attention to this. I'd say, quote, trash ass football program. I mean, you just can't have the whole thing going into this season was sustained success. We have to have sustained success. And you come out and you start 2-4, and then you go on the road and somehow get this win over Maryland. It's just baffling. And you're not going to hold your fans' attention when you have 1 week you're doing something like this, and then the 2 weeks prior, because Purdue game was even worse. Purdue was even worse than Nebraska. You had 2 absolute clunkers in a row. You're 2-2, and your next 2 opponents are Purdue and Nebraska, and you get embarrassed in both of them. That's how you lose your fans. Now, I'm like Logan. Am I still going to keep an eye on it? Yeah. Am I going to watch Saturday? Probably most of it. Will it have my full attention? Absolutely not. But what the Maryland game does, do you have a question about that? Or I was going to move on to another point. What the Maryland game does is gets you back into the bowl conversation, because there are 5 games left. 2 of them are essentially locks, I would think. Indiana and Northwestern get you 5 wins. So if you get one of Maryland, or if you get one of Wisconsin, Minnesota, or Iowa, you're back in a bowl. And when you're 2-4, I think 6-6 is about as good as you can expect. So the Maryland win was huge.
Yeah.
Because I do see 3 more wins on the schedule, and think they can win 3 more games and get to a bowl, and that's 2 bowls in a row, and that is progress, but it's a step back as far as expectations going into the season.
So we did this in basketball season where we got about halfway through and we kind of did a whatever we called it, an assessment of sorts, at the halfway point of the basketball season. We planned around that. We haven't planned around doing this for football, but what is your halfway through the season assessment of where we're at with this team? Is this, let me go back up. We know what everybody had their varying expectations for this team. It was anywhere from slightly above 100 to contending for the West.
Yeah.
And obviously they're going to probably fall somewhere in the middle of that, which is fine, or maybe towards the bottom. They'll probably finish around 500. But where are we at now? Where is this program at on October 16th of 2013 in year whatever it is of the Brett Bielema era? Are we going to look back at last year and think that was the year? It's hard to say no at this point.
I think we're going to look at this year as the missed opportunity.
This year? Last year?
This year.
Okay.
What is the missed opportunity? Because it's the last year of East versus West. It's the last year before expansion.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten West is absolutely wide open with all 5 of the 7 teams. 6 of the 7 teams are within just a hair of one another. and you come out and you start the season 2-4, and you're going to end the season 5-7, 6-6. This was the missed opportunity because Illinois is never going to get back to a Big Ten, never going to get to a Big Ten championship. This was the year because they're not going to beat Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State. Now you got USC. Now you got Washington. Now you got 8 quality blue blood. I don't know about blue blood. 8 quality college football programs. This year you had to beat 6 at the time mediocre programs, and you start the year 2-4.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, and I don't know. I don't think this is the time or place to start pointing fingers and putting coaches on hot seats and all that stuff. I know you've already done that on Twitter, but I don't know. It's just I should be more excited about this win than I am. And that's why. Yeah. It was because the way they looked the 2 weeks prior to that, you've already kind of ended the season. And in this world of college football, 2 losses is essentially the end when it comes to, like, yes, I realize that Illinois is not like a true like playoff contender. And so they should just be trying to eye a legitimate bowl game. But when you lose those 2 games, Big Ten games, like you do that early in the season to the players, the teams that you do, like it's over. Like what's the point? Like, what are we playing for here? We're playing to play in the freaking, I don't know, whatever Heinz Ketchup Bowl on
Idaho Potato
Bowl on Black Friday. Like, I mean, I know that's early, but like, what are we? I don't care. I just don't.
Yeah.
Illinois is. This is what I was going to kind of say earlier. Like I don't plan my weekends around Illinois football. No. I never have, and I don't know that I ever will. I plan my life around Illinois basketball to the dismay of my significant other. Like I just do. I have for many, many years. Like even in their bad years, when I was in college, like I still planned when I could. It was a little harder then. But I plan my life around Illinois basketball games. I do not do that for Illinois football. And I don't know that I ever will. And you're right. This was last year and this year were the years to do it, to contend, to make it to Indy, play in the Big Ten championship game. Mm-hmm. And this is how it fizzles out.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. You had the most momentum Illinois football maybe has ever had outside of coming off of a Rose Bowl was last year. You had a top 3 college running back leaving that you had a hole to fill there. You had a first round draft pick, top 5 draft pick, a second round draft pick, a third round draft pick to go along with that running back. You had such a major sell, and who did they add in the portal? Like that's college football now, is the transfer portal. You got Luke Altmaier. He was your second choice. I think they wanted Hudson Card, which Altmaier is better than Hudson Card is this year. But why did they not go out and get a running back? They put it on Josh McCray and Reggie Love, which I appreciate the trust that they're putting in their guys. But when you had Chase Brown coming in, there were a lot out there. Like, you got to go get a bell cow. And I think they approached the offseason wrong. Not wrong, because they did bring back Johnny Newton. They brought back Keith Randolph and all that, and they used all that NIL money to retain guys. But I don't know that's what they should. I'm looking hindsight here, hindsight's 2020. But in NIL, if you got a guy that can go out and improve your team, loyalty's kind of out the window in this day and age. So I think it was just looking back, it was a pretty bad offseason. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it was a mistake from the beginning. And now
Coach Steve's in here
with the repercussions. Steve, what's up, buddy? Coach Steve, that's the world of the transfer portal. You need to coach those guys into what you need them to do. Some of them will work and some will not. And that's absolutely correct. We're seeing that in both football and basketball. And Illinois clearly did not handle the transfer portal well as far as football goes. Either way, Illinois wins over the weekend, beating Maryland on the road. A couple players named Big Ten Players of the Week. J.J. McCarthy. Or no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Seth Coleman, Caden Fagan. Fagan was great.
Yeah, too bad you don't give it to him on the goal line inside the 1 yard line.
We're not here to make
Jesus,
questionable calls. Whatever. That's it. Illinois wins. We're moving on. This week they host. That game's at home, right? Is this homecoming weekend?
Homecoming, yeah.
Host Wisconsin. Wisconsin was looking pretty good until they ran into the Iowa
Steel curtain.
Steel curtain. Yeah, that Iowa team, man, they can't score a lick, but man, you won't score many points. And that's what happened. So we'll see. I mean, I do think, to your point, I think Illinois has a very winnable schedule the rest of the way, but you have to convince me that they're going to actually win.
So if they go 8-4, 6-3.
What's the question?
Well, how do you react if they finish the year with 5? If they rip off 5 wins in a row, and they go 8-4 and 6-3 in the Big Ten, how are you looking back on the conversation we just had?
I think you will be looking back on the conversation as you still should have been able to beat Purdue.
You should have been a 10-2 and
exactly
7-1 team.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be fine. Like if that's how they end it, and like whatever, I think Bielema can breathe easier and like go into next year. Like we got to improve.
Oh, I don't think Bielema is in trouble. I
don't think he is either. Well, this is true. Regardless, I think if you finish the season like that, sure, we can think positively and get me a little bit more excited going into next season to ultimately be let down again.
Although next season's schedule is not the toughest.
Okay. You want to have this conversation?
No.
Okay. Illinois, Wisconsin, Saturday, homecoming in Champaign. Is that a 2:30 start time?
3:30. Yep.
3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central.
FS1.
Huh? FS1. Yep. We'll see. Wisconsin's going to be without their quarterback. So that's good, I guess. Maybe you get a win there too. That would be wonderful. Anything else Illinois football related?
I'm just going to throw Steve's coaching analysis up there.
Yeah. If they beat Wisconsin, watch out. Watching the Maryland game, I think they're about to turn the corner. Well, Steve?
I mean, I agree. What I did watch, like Logan said, I had the YouTube TV multi-view going with 4 games.
No free ads.
Okay, yeah. YouTube TV is going to be a sponsor. That's coming. And Illinois did not have the sound. I obviously had the sound on Oregon, Washington. I was watching A&M and Tennessee. Like, it was probably, I would consider it 4th screen. But what I did see, they did look a lot better. And I believe that comes down to, I don't know what it comes down to. I don't know whether it comes down to the running back or if the O-line is finally figuring out their spots, but they did look a lot better.
I do believe in this program, in this coach, and that they can finish the season stronger than it started. I firmly believe that.
I think he's going to learn a lot from this year. I think Brett learned a lot on the way to approach the offseason and making sure his guys are ready this season. And I think Brett's a coach that will adapt. But that's my big issue with his offensive leader is that he does not make halftime changes. He does not make in-game adjustments. He comes in with 10 pre-scripted plays that look awesome. They're redirections and sweeps going the wrong way and has the defense confused. And then after those 10 plays, it's read option, RPO, read option, RPO, quick slant. Like it's all the same after the first 10 scripted plays. Okay, I'm done.
There we go. All right, let's move on. We spent enough time talking about Illinois football. Had they lost that game, we would have talked about it for 2 minutes.
Yes.
But instead, they got 20 minutes of our time. So good for them. Around the Big Ten last week, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State all blew out their opponents, remaining at the top of the Big Ten. Rutgers was just 3 points better than Michigan State. And then Iowa, as we talked about.
5-2.
Huh?
What? No, go ahead.
What'd you say?
I said Rutgers is 5-2.
Yeah, Rutgers is legit. Or something.
Oh.
Michigan State is not good. But they almost beat Rutgers. And then Iowa, who seems to be sneaking back into the conversation, despite their awful showing in State College, is now back in the favorite to win the West. So who would have thought?
I put 3 futures on at the start of the season. One was Illinois over 6.5 wins. That one is on shaky ground.
Yes.
Second one was Maryland over 4.5 Big Ten wins. It's looking okay. The other one was Iowa over 8.5 wins. They've got 6 with 5.
Did you put on put anything on Iowa's point total?
No. If I could have, I would have went with the under Brian Ferentz total.
Yeah.
And he is squarely in line for that.
Yes. It's impressive. It's impressive how bad that offense is. All right. We're not going to do Big Ten power rankings anymore. We kind of make it an executive decision that it's kind of silly. The way the Big Ten is, it's like 3 teams, 2 teams, and then a whole load of crap. But the standings, at least, we will talk about. The East, 3 teams at the top, of course, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, all of them undefeated going into this current week. Of course, the big game across the country this weekend is in Columbus, Penn State, and Ohio State. Then there's Maryland and Rutgers, both 2-2 in conference play. Indiana and Michigan State, neither have won a conference game. And then in the West, it's typical Big Ten West. You have Iowa there 3-1. Wisconsin, who they just beat at 2-1, so they're going to have the tiebreaker there if that's the case. And then you have just a bunch of crap. Northwestern, Minnesota, Nebraska, Purdue, and Illinois. They've all got 1 win. They're all just kind of beating each other. That's why I'm not going to do power rankings anymore, because this is what they do. So that's the Big Ten West. This week, we talked about the big one, Ohio State hosting Penn State. That's it. That's the big noon game on Fox, 11 o'clock Central Time. The rest of the games kind of suck. Rutgers goes to Indiana, Wisconsin at Illinois, Minnesota goes to Iowa, Northwestern at Nebraska, and then Michigan travels to Michigan State. All right, let's get out of the Big Ten. You have Colorado on here. Are we still talking about Colorado?
Well,
I'm kind of over talking about Colorado.
I just left it on there. I don't know what else college football related to talk about. I mean,
that's
they're doing
the colors you chose for our.
It could be Iowa, could be Colorado, could be Pitt.
Definitely looks like Colorado. The only thing I want to talk about Colorado is, did you see Keenan's thing on Weekend Update?
I haven't watched it yet. I got halfway through SNL and I fell asleep
funny.
This week.
It is very funny. I laughed more in Weekend Update than I have in a long time in SNL. So yes, on SNL, Keenan Thompson did Deion Sanders and was fantastic. I think the Colorado Barstool account retweeted it. Like one of those things where, like, especially with SNL, people are like very negative towards anything SNL. People loved that.
Yeah.
Especially like Colorado people absolutely loved that sketch or whatever. So
yeah,
it's really funny. You should watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same that it was 3 weeks ago when they started 3-0. I was like, I still need to see something. And I don't think there's, I thought they'd be a 7-8 win team. I don't think they're even going to be that. They lost me a ton of money on Friday night, man. Lost me a lot of money.
I didn't watch a second of that game. I'm not sure Deion did either. Okay.
I don't think there's anything else like nationally going on.
I mean, yeah, the Oregon Washington was the big game of the week. My Heisman favorite.
Is it Penix?
I mean, it was Caleb. Caleb was awful Saturday night. Did not go to that game. Watched that from the comfort of my couch.
I almost texted you.
Caleb was atrocious. And it wasn't necessarily him. I don't know. USC just absolutely was dog shit. It's Penix.
Explicit.
It's Penix. I think he's I don't know if that's the clear favorite right now, but I think he's
they need
emerging.
If they take a loss, then it obviously it falls down to like a Drake May or Jordan Travis or something like that.
Has Drake May even had that good of a season?
I mean, they're undefeated, but he's thrown for 1,900 yards, 12 TDs, and 4 picks. So, I mean, decent.
Yeah, I mean, I would still say it's Penix. And his coach, former SIU coach.
Kalen Bauer, when we were there, I think, right?
Yeah, he was the OC while we were there, and Bubba Schweigert was the DC, and he's the head coach of North Dakota.
Yeah.
And they just beat North Dakota State. I saw that. All right, really? Yeah, that's it. Huh?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, he was like crying in the presser. Mario Mocha retweeted it. That's the reason I saw it. Okay, pick your pick. Last week, it's funny.
4 weeks ago.
4 weeks. Let's just do a kind of a reset on the season.
Yep.
We're pretty much even. Craig is 18-6 in his picks. I am 17-7. So I've emerged after having an awful week 2 or whatever it was.
Got a perfect week 4.
I had a perfect week in week 4. So good, yay me. So yeah, that's what we're doing. This is our picks this week. We're doing the big one: Penn State at Ohio State, Tennessee at Alabama, Minnesota at Iowa, Oklahoma State at West Virginia, doing some action, Toledo at Miami.
Yeah.
Ole Miss at Auburn, TCU goes to Kansas State, Duke at Florida State, Utah at USC, Clemson at Miami, and then Wisconsin at Illinois. Excuse me. Craig, you get the first pick.
Florida State.
I'm surprised that is as high as it is. Honestly,
I am too.
I am a little bit.
I don't know that Riley Leonard is back yet.
No, I don't think he is.
But Duke looked pretty good without him and beating North Carolina State. So I'll take Florida State. I still think they're one of the top. They're undefeated, right? Are they undefeated?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I still think they're obviously one of the top 4 teams. I think they'll probably be in the playoffs, but I'll take Florida State.
Yeah, I think Florida State is about as good of a lock if I'm predicting anybody to be in the playoff, just based on the remaining schedule. Yeah, I need you to keep track of this because I am not today. All right, so you went Florida State, which is the biggest spread of the options we have. Let's see. What do I want to do here? I'm going to go with oh, it's going to be ugly, but I'm going to take Iowa. That they're Iowa, man. They're Iowa. Their only loss on the season is that abomination that I witnessed in person. I don't think they're that great of a football team, but I'm not sure Minnesota is either. And they're
Maybe you should just go to every Iowa game so they suck every game.
Probably. Yeah, I can. It's going to be 18-12 will be the final score, if that.
Yeah,
but I will
over under is 32.
Great. Well, I'm dead on. So okay, I will take Iowa. You're up next.
Okay, now it's like I legitimately don't know.
I'm sorry.
For as bad as the slate is, they're all really close games. Spread wise, you know.
You can thank our wonderful producer for putting these picks
together. I'll go with a ranked team at an unranked team. I'll go with Ole Miss to beat Auburn. I know Good Auburn's pick. A tough place to play.
Good pick.
But yeah, just give me Lane Kiffin, I guess. I don't know. Remember when Lane Kiffin was a lock to take the Auburn job?
Yeah.
The guy tweeted that he has accepted it, and then yeah.
That was a time. I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but I think they're going to finish the season much higher than they were looking a couple weeks ago. I will take Alabama.
Ooh, I was
Alabama at home against Tennessee. Tennessee is fine, but Alabama's not fallen off the face of the earth, despite what many people wanted to say. Don't think they get into the playoff, but I think they win that game against Tennessee. So I will take Alabama. Roll Tide. You're up. Pick 3.
Sorry, I'm reading a comment here from our buddy. You know what?
What's that?
I think I'm going to do it.
Do what?
I want some action.
There it
Give me Miami, Ohio. I know Illinois played Toledo, so that's like our connection there. But Toledo hasn't been – they're 6-1, but they haven't been as impressive as I think a lot of people thought they were going to be. It's in – is the school in Miami? Where's my – is that the city that it's in?
My God.
No, it's in – I think it's Oxford. I think
that's
it's Oxford, Ohio.
I'm just kidding. It probably is. I don't know. That sounds
Anyways,
right.
I'm taking Miami, Ohio, the home underdog to beat Toledo.
I love it. I had a game that I want to pick next, but I'm just really not sure where to go with it. Part of me wants to take the underdog, and part of me wants to take the favorite. Does that mean I should skip it and move on? I don't know.
Oxford, Ohio.
congratulations, Craig. That sounded right when you said it. Man, they looked really bad on Saturday. Really bad. I think they'll figure it out though at home. I don't know much about Utah, but what are you giving me? What's
Let's
that
fight
for?
on. That's their
Oh,
thing.
yeah. I thought you were
I
doing
knew
something
where
else.
you were going.
I'll take USC.
Oh,
They were awful. They were just awful against Notre Dame. But I think Caleb Williams is the best player in the country. He's the reigning Heisman Trophy winner for a reason. They'll get it together. I'll take USC.
thing you have to look at there is if Utah's quarterback is coming back yet. Cam Rising.
Right.
Don't know that. Don't know. Okay. I'm gonna go to TCU Kansas State, but I don't know where I'm gonna go because the other 3 games I do not want to touch yet. I've picked Kansas State a couple times and they burned me. At Kansas State, their favorite. I'll stick with them. See if they do me good this time. I'll take Kansas State. A lot of purple. TCU.
Okay, so that leaves 3. That leaves
3 Ravens.
the Big Ten matchup in Columbus. Leaves Oklahoma State at West Virginia and Clemson at Miami.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'm going to take Clemson.
Oh.
I'm going to take Clemson on the road. Don't ask me why. Go Clemson. 2 left. Who's going to take the big one? Who's going to take the big swing? Clearly, neither of us are super confident with this. So neither of us have taken Ohio State or Penn State. Will you go there next, or are you going to go to West Virginia?
Oh, man. Ohio State is so banged up right now.
Do it.
They're so, they didn't have Emeka Ibuka. They didn't have Mayan Williams. They didn't have Travion Henderson. And I think another running back got hurt during the game.
Do it.
Oh, my gosh. I really want to. So, I'll do it. Give me Penn State. Penn State over Ohio State. Don't love it. But let's do it. Let's have some fun here.
I kind of wanted it. I'm not going to lie. But I had every opportunity to take it. So that's fine. That's fine. That leaves me with Oklahoma State and West Virginia. Who cares? I'll take West Virginia.
I knew you were. I feel like every time we have West Virginia on here, you take West Virginia.
Really?
Yes.
Am I a fan?
Maybe. I take Oklahoma State.
I'm just living in the days of Pat White and Steve Slayton.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They were fun to play with on college football back in 2000 and whatever year that was.
Dude, I wish
all right, so yes, I will take West Virginia for no good reason at all to close it out. So Craig, can you recap who we just took?
Oh, I didn't write it down.
Okay, never mind. We're not going to worry about that.
I did.
All right.
You've got Iowa over Alabama. You've got Iowa, Alabama, USC, Clemson, West Virginia. I've got Florida State, Ole Miss, Miami, Ohio, Kansas State, and Penn State. And I will take Illinois to beat Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. We have to pick that game, too.
Yes. I think.
Okay. Great. Good for you.
Like Coach Steve kind of mentioned in his comment, I saw some things from Illinois on the defensive side of the ball. I think that touchdown by Caden Fagan at the end of the first half, I don't want to call it a turning point yet, but we could look back in a couple weeks and say that was the turning point when they decided to go for the touchdown at the goal line after Maryland called timeout. I think they're going to ride momentum, and I think Illinois is going to get the win.
How often do we differ when picking Illinois games? Have we differed much?
Not a lot, no.
Okay. I will take Wisconsin. I love your optimism, and I hope you're right. And you might be right. I tend to have a little bit of confidence here, too. But I will still take Wisconsin.
You tend to be the more optimistic one when it comes to Illinois than me.
Yes, that is true. I think Wisconsin is the better team here. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. So I will take Wisconsin. All right. Can we move on from football?
Basketball
This is a
season.
basketball podcast now.
Basketball season. 50 minutes of football.
Yeah, we are inching closer and closer to basketball season. So close that the AP poll came out today, and that Illinois plays an exhibition game on Friday night
Against
Tyler Wooten's alma mater. No, Ottawa,
which is located in
Kansas.
Which you learned
before the show
an hour
because
ago.
you told me. Tyler Wooten went to Southern Illinois, but he went to high school in Ottawa, Illinois.
Not the same place.
Not the same place at all. No. But yes, so two things to talk about. We know nothing about Ottawa, so we're not going to attempt to preview that game. It's an exhibition game. No one cares. But it is happening Friday night in Champaign. The AP poll did come out today. And I don't think we need to go over everything, but Illinois is on the top 25. They're number 25, but they are in the top 25. My thoughts going into this is that I'm not trying to be like a homer, but I was kind of surprised by the polls that I was seeing all off season long that didn't have Illinois in the top 25. Like, I know last year was a little rocky, and I know that they barely got into the tournament or whatever, and then ultimately lost. I get all those things, but this is the team that has a true like All-American candidate and like talent around him. Like, we know the question marks, like we don't need to dive into that now. All I'm saying is that I've been kind of surprised by the lack of love Illinois has gotten when it comes to top 25 polls. I'm not saying they're top 10, top 15. I've just been surprised when I haven't seen them. So to see them pop up in the first AP poll today at number 25 was kind of a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end. I just don't see it.
Okay.
I saw the I saw Ken Palm came out with his yesterday or 2 days ago was his debut for the 2024. He had Illinois at 19.
Yep.
And Evan Maya, his formulas have Illinois at 13. And I'm like, hold on. What? 25, I think, is about right, but I don't think I would not have been shocked to not see Illinois. I would have been more shocked if they were higher than I would have been if they were not ranked. There's a bad taste in my mouth from last year. I just don't know what they improved. I know they're more experienced.
Yeah.
But we talked about it, I feel like over the summer or something. I know we talked about it on here. What were the two things that Illinois was terrible at last year?
Point guard play and shooting.
And they didn't improve either of them. So I don't know. Do I think they'll be good? Yeah. Do I think they'll make the tournament? Yeah. Will they contend in the Big Ten? Sure. Will they win the Big Ten? No. Do I think this is a locked second weekend NCAA tournament team? No. I think it's about a 20 to 22, 23 win team. But I don't. People are saying that they can compete with Purdue and Michigan State. Right now I don't see it. No. I need to see. I need to see what Brad's doing to help the point guard play. I need to see Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn. I need to see Ty Rogers as a full-time point guard before I fully commit to Illinois being a top 20 team.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything that you and I can add to that conversation. The conversation that's been a buzz ever since Sky Clark left back in whenever that was. Those two things have been an issue, and everybody's known they've been an issue, and they were not addressed. So yes, for everything you just said, you are absolutely correct. The things that this team needed to improve on, they did not. In fact, you can almost make an argument that they got worse when it comes to those things. Huh?
Shooting wise, maybe, yeah.
Well, you had a pretty good one last year that you let transfer out. Well, he didn't. Well, I wasn't referring to Jaden Epps. I was referring to Matthew Meyer. He didn't transfer out. He was just done. But he was a problem in itself, as was Jaden Epps, who, by the way, just casually dropped 46 points in a scrimmage the other day against whoever it was, according to John Fanta.
Yeah, okay, I didn't even acknowledge it. I didn't even talk to my friends about it. I didn't talk to you about it.
Oh, you don't believe it?
Do we believe that? Like, are we sure that someone from Providence, or not Providence, where'd he go?
Georgetown.
Are we sure that someone from Georgetown isn't just like, oh yeah, Jaden Epps scored 50 today? And like,
I don't know.
I don't know that I believe that. But as one of my buddies in the group chat did say, okay, he might have scored 46, but how many did the guy he was guarding score?
Yeah, who knows?
It's like, even if he averages 46 a game, like, did you see the way he was acting the second half of the Illinois season? Like, he needed to go.
I'm not taking any stuff. Like, trust me, like, I'm not sitting here like, oh, he needs to be. No, like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that he's the closest thing this team had to a point guard, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Matthew Meyer was the closest thing this team had to a shooter, and he's gone.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And
were they both a problem? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But those were the things you needed the most, and you let go what you had. Where I think this team will have improved, which you did allude to, is the experience.
Yeah.
And I think that is an obvious thing. This is far and away one of the most experienced teams in terms of years of college basketball experience in the entire country. This team went from, I've heard like Jeremy Werner and people talk about the numbers in terms of like games started like prior to the season last year or whatever, and it was alarmingly low compared to this year. You retain somehow both Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins. You still have Dane Danger, who started a healthy amount of games last year and is probably going to come off the bench a lot this year. Mm-hmm. And then you bring in Marcus Damas, Quincy Guerrier, and Justin Harmon, 3 players who have been nothing but starters at their previous stops. So, listen, are they going to be a great shooting team? No, probably not. Is there clearly a point guard issue? Yes, very much so. Do I think those things can be resolved over the course of the season? Sure, I do. But I think the experience is what it comes down to. You have the luxury of having this additional year. You're going to have 30-year-olds playing basketball like Notre Dame has playing quarterback. Like, that's going to be the difference maker. And I'm not saying they're going to be the most talented team. I'm not saying they're in that top tier. I think Purdue, as far as Big Ten teams are concerned, there's Purdue and Michigan State, and then there's the next tier, which I do think Illinois is in that next tier. And clearly the Associated Press thinks so too, because there's only 3 Big Ten teams in the top 25, and Illinois is one of them. So we'll just have to see. We're not going to learn a lot in exhibition games. You might learn something again in the Kansas one, which is the following weekend. But you're not going to learn a lot with Ottawa.
This is your warning, though.
Yes.
That if you're going to get the Big Ten Plus subscription, get it Friday, because you'll only have to pay a month. Because all of the Big Ten Plus games are in that 30-day window, then you can cancel and only pay 1 month of it.
Should we talk about this part of this?
What? Oh, the stream?
The streaming thing. The
streaming thing. People cry about everything.
People are gonna. Oh,
I feel like they did Illinois some favors. I didn't feel like it was that bad.
So okay, well here's the thing, and I kind of talked about this last year, and
there was one thing that's bad. I'll see if you say it.
We touched on this, but we knew, and I talked about it when ESPN got out of the Big Ten business. Somebody was going to have to come in and replace those games.
Yep.
And it wasn't going to be Fox mothership. It's not like Fox, NBC, CBS is joining up to do the Big Ten package, but they're not going to put Big Ten games on a Tuesday night on NBC. They're just not. Or Fox or CBS. You already have a healthy load of games on FS1, plus they have Pac-12 and Big East. You have a healthy load of games already on the Big Ten network. So these games got to go somewhere. So that's why a lot of Big Ten games are going to be on Peacock. People are just going to have to get used to it. This is the world we live in. Illinois has 3 games on Peacock this year. There are some big matchups on Peacock. Big Ten games. Even there's the Purdue Arizona game is on Peacock. This is how they are replacing the Big Ten games on ESPN, is by using Peacock. So yes, there are like 6 games this year that are only available via streaming, either BTN Plus, as you mentioned, or Peacock. So this is the warning again out there to anybody that's listening or watching. You will have to pay additional money, more than you're already paying for your cable bundle, if you want to watch every single men's basketball game this season.
That was my thing. The second part of kind of what you said.
Paying additional money?
No. March 5th, the second to last game of the year, Illinois, Purdue, streaming only. I mean, theoretically,
where are you putting it?
If things go the way they could, that could determine, if not the championship, major seeding implications. And it's on Peacock.
I don't disagree, but where are you putting it?
FS1.
That's the thing, though. I think it's Tuesday. I don't remember what it is. It's like Tuesdays, it's a Big Ten night, and Thursdays, it's a Big East night. Like, I think that's how it works. I mean, FS1 has other conferences too.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with you.
Part of, because NBC owns USA, right?
Yes.
Do they have nightly programming, or are they all reruns?
I'm sure they have original stuff, but I have no idea. Yeah, that's the only other logical explanation. You could have potentially thrown stuff on USA, but like, they're really pushing the streaming thing. I don't disagree with you.
I see what they're doing. I mean, they're going to get people to sign up. They're going to get hundreds, if not thousands of dollars from these fans that are diehards and wanting to have to pay the, what is it, $6 a month for the premium. I already pay for it. So that's kind of why I'm paying for it. I'm not bitching about anything, because that's what the Premier League's on. So I don't care. But yeah, it is what it is to me. Streaming here, you have to deal with it. Like, you can fight it all you want and bitch and moan about it. It's not going anywhere. Just find a way to make it work if you care that much, or watch it illegally on one of those bootleg sites.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
I don't condone. I'm not supporting. I don't condone. If anyone comes at me, I allegedly, don't sue me. Brett Favre.
Okay. Anything else? Basketball? I don't know. We're getting towards the end of this. How long have we been doing this show tonight?
Hour and 3.
Okay.
So about an hour, because we got that 2-minute intro.
All right. And what else do we want to talk about? Basketball? Others? Do we need to talk about?
The only other basketball thing, did you see SIU's new uniforms?
Yeah.
8 thumbs up.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
Big fan?
Yeah. I like the maroon, the way Southern Illinois, I think they tried to get too cute the last couple of years, and with the bulleted SIU and all that. I like them. I like them a lot. Now, will the team be any good? I don't know.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's a ton we can talk about basketball, but
yeah, I think we probably can do that a little later. Yeah, the Big Ten, it's Purdue's to lose, if you ask me. We'll see what they do in the postseason, but the Big Ten season, I think it'll be all Purdue.
The Field of 68, who they're so good at college basketball content. Shout out Rob Dauster and Goodman and all that. They put out their best players, I believe.
Yep, the top 5 were all centers.
Yeah,
Filipowski.
Top 5 were all big men.
Yeah,
and none of them will get drafted in the first round. I mean, some will get drafted in the first round, but none of them will have a pro career because it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, this is how it's been for years.
Kyle Filipowski,
why does this surprise you?
Dickinson, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Donovan Clingan. Like, they're all 7-footers.
Why is this any different?
I mean,
the last few years,
it's been, I know.
Sheboy, Coburn, Dickinson, Edie, like, it's been the same thing. Like, I get what you're saying, but like, this year is no different than anything else.
Drew Timme. I could not think of his name. Drew Timme.
Yeah, Drew Timme. Yeah. I mean,
who was after? Who was 6 through 10? Did you see?
I don't remember. I don't even know if I saw 6 through 10. I just I feel like they just jumped all the way to the top.
I mean, Armando Bacot. I forgot his last name. Bacot was SIU. Justin
Bacot.
I don't see a 6 through 10, but they tweet a lot. So, is it still tweeting or is it Xing? They X a lot.
I don't know. I don't say X. I know some people do. Let's see. There's 1 through 5, 6 through 10. Tyler Kolek, Armando Bacot, Tyrese Proctor. Yeah, it's all guards.
Okay.
Well, no, Bacot's there.
Bacot's a center.
Whatever.
And then 11 through 10, there's 1 center. So, okay, so it's top heavy center.
Yeah, but like, that's just how it's been. Like,
yeah.
It's Sheboy, Edie, Coburn, Dickinson, Dick or whoever you said.
Kalkbrenner.
Yeah, like that's just what it's been. But whatever.
Did you also see that they've big time Field of 68 plug here? They're going to a bunch of like the mid-major media days. Like they went to the Summit League,
Yeah,
Mountain West, West Coast Conference. Like they're going to the small media days.
they're
A
just
lot of people
going
were
all in.
bitching. A lot of people were bitching about the Big Ten because it was in Minnesota and no one was there. Which my take on media days. So
What's your take on media days?
they're
They're
useless.
pointless.
Yeah.
I know you get very fired up about that.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we need to talk about? Baseball playoffs going on. I've watched minimal baseball, honestly. I usually love baseball playoffs, but because of my traveling and everything else, like I've hardly watched.
I have watched more baseball the last week than I did since the month of May.
That's wonderful. I watched most of the game last night. I watched bits and pieces here. It's been an interesting playoff. The hot topic around the web is the regular season officially meaningless now, which I think is a fair argument to make. Because what does it mean? What does it mean?
I saw someone tweet that maybe they should give the top seed like a choice to play or not, because like that's the issue. Like they get a week off and then everything's rusty and all that. So would they rather play the 6th seed or whatever than sit on the couch and lose the groove? I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just think that I don't know. Did you see the Marlins today?
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. They extended an option to their GM, Kim Ng, first female GM in baseball, right? Or in professional sports. Or in the Big Four.
Sports.
Maybe the Big Four, but definitely baseball. They extended the option to her to extend her contract, and she declined it. And then it came out that they tried to hire someone to like oversee her. And she's like, okay, F you. So good. I mean, good for her. Someone else better hire her because she just took the Marlins to the playoffs. But that Marlins organization's kind of never been the best.
No, she can find something better than that. Yeah, they're a mess.
Who do you got to win it?
I was going to say right now the Rangers are up 5-3 in the 8th of that game. The NLCS game will start tonight. Well, right now it's looking like Texas. It's like win it all. Is that what we're asking?
Yeah.
I will take the Phillies over the Rangers.
That's the exact matchup I was going to take. I don't think the Diamondbacks can do it.
Had you asked me before this game started, I might have said Phillies over the Astros, but I still think the Phillies win. But the way
going into the playoffs,
AL series has started,
would you have picked like the Dodgers or the Braves?
A show before the playoffs. I would have been high on the Braves. I might have still been high on the Phillies just because of what they did last year, but probably not. I probably would have said the Braves or the Dodgers. The American League, I don't think I would have said the Orioles.
No.
I might have said the Rangers. Not the Twins.
I probably would have said Astros. I probably would have said Braves.
Yeah,
Astros,
I mean it'd be a pretty chalky answer, but yeah, right now I would say Phillies over the Rangers would be my pick. But NFL fantasy, where do you want to go? Anywhere? How about your Cowboys?
I can't get a read on this
your
NFL
experience
season.
at Soldier Field. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I went to my first Bears game yesterday.
Tell you about another jersey.
Didn't buy.
Got
because did I tell you this?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not gonna vocalize it for the world to hear. But yes, that was one of my free promo jerseys. Justin Fields, who will probably no longer be a Bear after this year because he's hurt and not going to be able to prove anything. They're going to get the number 1 pick and draft Caleb Williams. But yes, first Bears game. My brother-in-laws couldn't go to my bachelor party, so they're like, we'll bring you up to a Bears game later in the year. So that was like make up for missing my bachelor party. So went with a couple of my brother-in-laws and a father-in-law to the Bears game yesterday. First time in the stands. I had been to Soldier Field. I covered an Illinois Northwestern game there one year. It was actually the day that they gave Bill Cubitt the extension. The not ideal day. It was, I could write a book about that day. So I had been to Soldier Field on the field, but I'd never been in the stands. It was fun. I mean,
yeah,
I leaned over to my brother-in-law and I was like, okay, I know it's early in the season, but this place is packed. He's like, oh yeah, every game. I was like, even if they're like last year, they were 3-12. He's like, yeah, at kickoff, it's packed. Now, second half, most people leave, but that city supports. It was fun. It got loud, man. There was in the second half, Minnesota was backed up inside like the 2, like right on the goal line, going 98 yards, and it was loud. That was the end zone we were in. But yeah, it was a cool environment. It was. I tweeted the pictures. It was the first home game since Dick Butkus died, which we didn't even touch on. Completely forgot about that. Should have wrote that down.
We suck.
Yeah. First home game since he died, so they did a little like video tribute and carried his flag and all that stuff. And then we were walking through, and I saw his big, like I took a picture with his big bobblehead type thing. So that was cool. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. They suck, but it was fun.
It's wonderful. Glad you got that experience.
Cameron played regular season for them, didn't he?
He did. He did. His first game that he actually saw the field during a regular season was on a snowy Christmas Eve. And it was one of the most surreal experiences of my life.
Yeah,
but yeah,
awesome.
that's the first time I saw him. Going to see him was the first time I had been to Soldier Field.
Yeah.
So I think I went 2 or 3 times that year when he was there. I had been to a Bears-Packers Monday Night Football game, but it was in Champaign. It was the year they were renovating and played in Champaign.
Was that like 06, 07, 08, something like that?
I don't know.
We were trying to think of that because we went out by the columns at Soldier Field trying to figure out when they renovated Soldier Field, and we couldn't think of it.
That's the only time I'd even been to an NFL game before Cameron's whole experience.
Third
NFL
game, third NFL stadium, third NFL game.
Yeah, so it's a cool place. It's a very historic place. It's unfortunate that they're going to move them out because it deserves better, but unfortunately they need something different. So if the city's not going to give it to them, then
we kind of talked about that day, yesterday, and the in-laws seem to believe that they're not moving, and if they do need something, that there's enough room near Soldier Field that they could just rebuild something new there, like in the parking lots or south.
The problem, you're just landlocked because you're right there on the lake. Like there's only so much you can do. I mean, I'm sure it's possible that they can do something. But I think, and I've said this before, the city of Chicago desperately needs a roofed venue.
Yes.
Like Indianapolis and Minneapolis and LA have, or whatever. Like they need to be able to host Final Fours and college football playoffs and Super Bowls, and those are things that they cannot host right now. So that's just a huge disadvantage that the city has because they just can't do those type of. It's not about the football. Like Buffalo is building a brand new stadium without a roof, and like Buffalo can do that because Buffalo doesn't need a venue like that. It's not in line to be hosting any of these things. Chicago is missing out on a ton of money because they can't host those type of events. Whatever. Okay, let's just shut this thing down. We've been doing this for a while.
100 episodes.
100 episodes. That's pretty fantastic. I'd say. I never told everybody to like follow all of our stuff, but like we give the same spiel every week. So like if you're familiar, like you already know where to find us. If you're already listening or watching this, you know where to find us. Please like, subscribe, all that stuff. Follow us on all of our social media. Thank you to all of you who have participated at any point, whether it's today or in the past. We appreciate you. You're the reason why we do this. If we were getting 2 views per video, we probably would have stopped a year and a half ago. But the fact that we actually have people that tune into this thing makes it a little better. So that's wonderful. Thank you for that. We will be back. We're back on a regular schedule now. Sort of, I guess. I don't know. We get into basketball season and who knows?
Who knows?
We don't really have a game plan. That's the best part about this. We just kind of hop on here. Usually one of us sends out a text around lunchtime on Monday saying, are we doing this thing or not? And that's pretty much how it happens. So, thank you to you, Craig. Thank you to all the viewers, listeners, contributors, everything else, for coming along on this journey. 100's been pretty cool. Let's see if we can do 200.
Here's to the next 100.
All right, we're gonna shut it down. He's Craig. I'm Logan. This has been No One Asked Us. We'll probably be back next week, but who knows?
Who knows?
Until next time, peace, love,
Barbecue.
barbecue.